In the era of the Me Too movement, millions of women across the world have been sharing their experiences of sexual abuse, rape, or harassment.
And the roots of that movement only go back to 2006. Before that, it was less common for women to publicly discuss sexual violence that they have experienced. Well, a Sioux Falls woman, Dawn Hospice, was one of the first in the region to openly talk and be interviewed about being raped back in 1989.
In tonight's Keloland Investigates, Lauren Solik will talk to Hospice about her bravery 34 years ago. But first, we're looking back at the disturbing case.
It was October 1989 when Dawn Hospice, whose last name was then Gasper, and her young daughter were at home having a girls' night. The evening turned to terror when two men snuck in through a basement window. The two men, Levi Flute and David Arapaho, raped and beat Hospice while holding her young daughter at knife point. After hours of torture, they forced her and her daughter to drive them to an ATM. Keloland's Jay Trobeck was a reporter at the time and was assigned to cover the case. Here's a look back at Flute's sentencing in 1990.
This is a story of courage. The courage of Dawn Gasper, the woman who was raped in her own home at knife point with her daughter in the next room. A woman who has publicly confronted Levi Flute.
He's done too much to apologize for. There's no excuse for any human acting like he did, and I don't feel that any apology can ever be accepted from him.
He don't deserve to see light. He destroyed a lot of lives. The family, friends, everything.
Gasper and her 11-year-old daughter live in fear. They can't sleep at night, remembering Flute forcing them to drive to a cash machine for money after the rape. How he repeatedly talked about killing them.
We have to start all over again. Like I said in the courtroom, he's an animal and he needs to be put away.
Flute told the judge he has a newborn son he wants to see someday, and he apologized to the woman he raped.
I said I'm sorry.
But the judge was not impressed, giving Flute the maximum sentence allowed.
The people are pretty devastated by what happened that night, and I just think that speaks for the type of punishment he received.
Although Flute isn't eligible for parole until he's 80 years old, the case isn't closed for Dawn Gasper. She says her own home smells different to her now because of the horrible crime that Flute committed there. Jay Trobeck, Keloland News, Sioux Falls.
Arapaho was sentenced to 25 years and let out on parole after 9 years. Today, the Department of Corrections has him listed as a parole absconder. Levi Flute is still behind bars after being denied parole last month. In tonight's Keloland Investigates, I sit down with Dawn Hospice and her daughter to discuss the bravery she had 34 years ago when standing up to her offenders and speaking out about the crime.
Thank you, Lauren.